This morning, I'm going to begin with a story on the front page of the Jamaica Observer. The story is headlined, Danger to Democracy. Concern as large number of police and soldiers shun electoral process. And the Observer is reporting this morning, as Jamaicans prepare to go to the polls for the country's 19th general election, there is concern that the persistent low turnout at the polls by members of the security forces could weaken the island's democracy. The worry is that the lack of interest in voting by members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF, and the Jamaica Defence Force, JDF, raises questions about the viability of the country's democracy and the message their disengagement sends to the public. According to the Jamaica Observer's reporting, despite being given the opportunity to cast ballots ahead of the general population, police and soldiers have long recorded low participation in elections. According to the Electoral Commission of Jamaica, in 2016, 53%, or 5,322 of the 10,041 members of the JCF on the voters list took the opportunity to vote. 53% in 2016. However, only 930, or 36%, of the 2,569 soldiers registered to vote cast a ballot. In the 2020 general elections conducted during the COVID pandemic, the numbers fell even more, with only 4,849 of the 11,512, or 42% of the police registered to vote, cast their ballots, and just 982 of the 4,181 soldiers on the list exercised their franchise. Beg your pardon. According to social scientist Ricardo Smith, the low voter turnout by members of the security forces cannot be ignored. It sends a very negative message when the people who are trained and appointed to protect our interests, to serve and protect us, to enforce laws and protect us, relating to criminal justice, have a hands-off approach as it relates to who serves the country. This is not good. Well, my first reaction, it is not good, but so it is for the wider population. The members of the security forces are drawn from the wider Jamaican population, and the numbers are also low for the wider population. It's not that the wider Jamaican population is voting in greater numbers than the security forces. No. They are in step with the national turnout on average. Yeah? So we shouldn't be too alarmed by this. What we need to focus on is why there's this continuing decline in voter turnout and interest in our national electoral process. People are losing hope that the system can deliver the goods for them. They're not being excited and inspired. Yeah? That is the problem. It's not that you're a soldier or police. You're no different from what happens in the communities across the country. Yeah? And it's a question our leaders, our community, and when I say leaders, not only political leaders, social, civic, business, church leaders ought to examine what is it about the politics, why so many people are just of the view that we can't bother. They really matter. Yeah? Because that is dangerous. Yeah? It is dangerous. Because when you get to a point where the last election we had a turnout of what? 37%, 38%, 37.8. It's deep red flashing alarm. Let us see what happens on September 3. Are we going to get a turnout of that magnitude, 37.8, 40%? Or are we going to see it going back up? Because remember, 2020 was, we have to keep on reminding ourselves, an outlier of an election. It was the COVID pandemic election, yeah, when the restrictions in terms of movement were on. So we will have to see if come September 3 this year, yeah, there's going to be an improvement. Now, talking about voter apathy, I see where two of the smaller third, fourth parties, you want to call them? Yeah? I don't know if they qualify to be third or fourth parties, but the Jamaica First Movement, JFM, and the Jamaica Progressive Party, JPP, say they're joining forces in what they describe as a historic move to disrupt decades of political deadlock and revive voter engagement. The JPP, having satisfied the requirements of the Representation of the People Act, ROPA, was named the country's fourth registered party in 2020. Oh, can't remember them though. They went quiet after 2020. It's also one of the entities expected to contest the upcoming election. And then there is the Jamaica First movement by well-known clergyman, the Reverend Al Miller, that was launched earlier this month. According to Reverend Miller, the JFM is being positioned as a vehicle for national unity and would only serve for a single 5-year term if successful in forming a government. First of all, Al Miller is a repressed politician. Yeah? Al Miller over the years has always demonstrated, articulated the need for national unity and for us to clean up the politics and to get more people engaged. So I'm not surprised that he continues to be at it. Yeah? But he has studiously avoided joining one of the two major political parties. But he's clearly one of those Jamaicans who are concerned. Yeah? The second thing I will say to you, Reverend Miller, how practical is it for you to be saying that, listen, you want a vehicle for national unity and would only serve for a single 5-year term if successful in forming a government? What can you achieve in a single 5-year term? No. I think that demonstrates a level of naivety, on your part, Reverend Miller. It's going to take more than a single 5-year term, to establish the kind of unity you're talking about, And this concept, this notion of national unity, tell me where it exists in Westminster democracies or autocracies. Tell me where it exists. Think about it. The kind of national unity that Reverend Miller is talking about. I don't know of any country where we have this so-called unity by political parties and civic organizations, civil societies. No. And I think there are good reasons why they don't happen. Yeah? People have different opinions and views and genuinely based differences. Not because they don't like Jamaica, they love Jamaica. No, there are different ways of working to achieve the same goals. So this thing about national unity is a fiction. Yeah, is being naive. It no work. Well, a statement they put out yesterday says the JPP, that's a progressive party, will operate within the JFM special purpose vehicle for a single 5-year term with a stated mission of fostering national unity and rebuilding the country's foundation. Under the agreement, the JFM will provide the vision for what it calls the New Jamaica. Sounds familiar? The New Jamaica. The political parties and other civil society movements from time to time use that term, the New Jamaica, while the JPP, as a registered political party, says it will supply the political machinery needed to meet electoral requirements. What does that mean? The political machinery? The statement says the collaboration will allow the coalition to field candidates in all constituencies across the island, giving Jamaicans in every parish an alternative to the country's traditional political choices. Wish you luck with that. Well, still on the campaign trail, the race to 32, this issue between KD Knight and Chris Tufton over that voice note is heading for the courts, because attorneys for Mr. Knight have now written to Dr. Tufton accusing him of defamation arising from that altered audio recording played at the JLP's mass rally on Sunday in Halfway Tree. And Mr. Knight's attorneys are now demanding an apology and retraction, in addition to negotiations for a financial settlement. Yes. And it seems as if they are heading to court because Tufton is digging in. Here's Mahiri Stewart's report on that.
During Sunday's mass rally in Halfway Tree in St. Andrew, Dr. Tufton played an audio recording in which a voice alleged to be KD Knight's is heard saying PNP President Mark Golding is unfit to be Prime Minister of Jamaica. It has since emerged that the recording was altered and spliced to take Knight's original comments out of context. He in fact did not himself suggest Golding was unfit, but was conveying a view he said existed. Knight's attorneys say Dr. Tufton must take responsibility for having defamed their client by playing the altered recording. They say Tufton has persisted in standing by what they claim are defamatory comments, despite having been made aware of the unedited version of the recording by a journalist. The attorneys say the recording played at the JLP rally was a manipulated fabrication. The lawyers say the playing of the recording was a clear attempt to maliciously attack KD Knight and Mark Golding's reputation. The attorneys say the playing of the recording has caused great harm to their client's reputation. They're demanding that Dr. Tufton publicly retract the attribution of the recording to KD Knight. They say the retraction and apology must be agreed to by them and should appear in all electronic media of all media houses and on the social media pages of the JLP. The lawyers have given Dr. Tufton until Friday, August 15 to agree to their demands. Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
So, let's see how it turns out. Still on the political scene. She knows how to get things done. She knows how to get things done. She being Ambassador Audrey Marks, who is now about to enter representational politics on behalf of the governing Jamaica Labour Party in northeast Manchester. And it's a seat we're watching. She came in pretty late. The PNP's candidate, Valentin Wint. This is his third attempt to win northeast Manchester. His previous two attempts were thwarted by the outgoing Member of Parliament, Manayard Oatley Shaw. And the JLP went through a period of instability in the constituency and uncertainty over who would succeed Mr. Shaw until they drafted Audrey Marks some weeks ago. And from all indications, she has caught fire in northeast Manchester. She apparently is winning the hearts and minds of the Labourites in the constituency. And bear in mind, it has been a traditional JLP seat. Audley won it in 1993 and every succeeding election since then. Yeah. But the fact that this diplomat has been able to hit the ground there, and she's even been so accepted that they call her now Auntie Audrey. Yeah. But you know, in politics and life things, they say 7 days a week in politics is a long time. Because Valentin Wint has been applying himself, yes, in that constituency for so long. And just when it looked as if, boy, he had his best moment, best opportunity to win the seat, because, as you know, Mr. Shaw is not in the best of health now, and his leadership of the seat had fallen off, and the PNP sensed an opening. Yeah. Here comes Auntie Audrey. No, don't say that. But what I'm told, she just come and lick away Valentine foot. So the Prime Minister was in the area yesterday, in particular in the neighbouring constituency of northwest Manchester. And he was speaking at a JLP meeting in Devon on the border of northeast and northwest Manchester. Listen to what he said about Audrey Marks.
Audrey has worked as ambassador for Jamaica for many years. She's probably the longest serving ambassador of Jamaica to the United States. She has graced the halls of power all over the world. Her connections and network is incomparable to any, and yet she remains very humble. What we short of are people who can get things done. Your member of parliament to be is resourceful, and she knows how to get things done.
According to the Prime Minister, Ambassador Marks will play a key role in the government if he secures a third term in office.
Not only about getting things done. The other issue we face in Jamaica is the speed at which we get things done. The reason why I've asked Audrey to join the government and why I've now said I want you in Parliament to be a part of the legislative arm in the lower house. Our new government will put in place a new unit within the Ministry of the Office of the Prime Minister called Speed. But we have to start to look at the machinery of government to make that machinery work faster, work more efficient, use less resources, and deliver more results for the people of the country.
So she is going to be the Minister of Efficiency, government efficiency, if she gets into the lower house. Well, let us see. The Prime Minister also said that more Jamaicans, can be employed if, I remember a discussion yesterday with a gentleman, or it was the day before, about the skills gap in the country, that Jamaica is suffering from a shortage of certain skills in the labour market. And he was bemoaning the fact that Mr. Mafuda of Wisinko had recommended that we look to import labor from Haiti, and he was not for a moment in agreement with that. And this is an issue that the Prime Minister has returned to on a number of occasions because it's a real problem. Jamaica is almost at what you call full employment. The unemployment rate is at 3.3%, meaning for all the Jamaicans who are actively seeking a work, only 3.3% can find a work. And I am one to always remind people the last time we had full employment in Jamaica was at the end of slavery, where you didn't have a choice. You have to damn well get up, from morning, if not, you get whipped, beaten, and you have to go walk and walk for nothing. That was the last time we had full employment in this country. And we're close to that. So the Prime Minister said yesterday more Jamaicans can be employed if they get the necessary skills that are needed in the labor market.
We need to ensure that we keep all our workers employed and, in fact, even bring down that unemployment rate a little bit more. You probably can't get to zero, but you could get to 3 or 2.5%. We're technically almost at full employment. There are 50,000 estimated Jamaicans who are not employed. We could bring a certain number more into the labor force, but right now it's about 50,000. And we're doing everything possible to train them. The issue with the unemployment is not that there are no jobs. It's the mismatch between the jobs that are available and the skills that are there. So we are doing everything to get our workers skilled so that they can take up the jobs that are available.
The Prime Minister also emphasized the long-term benefits of a low unemployment rate.
We have only started to experience sustained high levels of employment. And I want you to consider this. If we keep on this path of low unemployment for the next decade, it means that 97% of the labor force would be earning an income for 10 years. Once you start to earn income, there is the possibility of savings and the acquisition of assets. It changes the household profile and it breaks intergenerational poverty.
Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness.